Okay guys, thanks very much for asking your questions in the recent Ask a Question to the Qwids team mission. We're going to attempt to...
I'm going to try to answer them to the best of our knowledge.
Yeah, so let's dive straight on in. We have, the first question comes from a user called Inosy, and his or her question is, where is the platform going?
The platform is becoming the best community building platform in the world. And it's going to take a little while, but we're adding awesome features, and we have plenty of very cool ideas, both ourselves and what we want to innovate and implement, but also through our ecosystem. So we see this as a joint effort to create the best tools for any kind of community to build and thrive.
That's right. We are heading towards a place where communities can find all the tools that they require to sort of develop their group of individuals towards their goals that they wish to achieve. And with the tools that exist right now, I think there's certainly a good startup opportunity.
Next question.
Okay, so the next question is coming from user called Agus Sole, and he just simply says, great project.
Thank you.
Thank you, Agus. So we'll go on to the third question. So this question comes from user Haringa. Thanks, Haringa, for asking a question. When do we go to market? Or when do we go on the market?
One of the key features why we believe in doing a token sale for this project is that obviously the platform is already there. So we're already on the market actually, but I think he or she might mean something else.
Yeah, I would imagine probably means when does the token go on the exchanges. I mean, a lot of people in this crypto space are often thinking in those terms, right? But if he does or she means when do we go to market, as in when do we start selling the product, turning Qwids into a business, that's already started. So yeah, it kind of depends on what he or she means. But thanks again for your question, and we'll move on to the next one. Question number 4, Majimp. Are you going to make an iOS or Android app soon?
There is an app.
In fact, there already is iOS and Android apps in the stores, both Google Play and Apple Store. However, we haven't promoted them so much because there's a few flaws that we need to address going forward, and we've already begun working with developers in that regard and to get those fixes implemented. However, the apps work. The mobile apps work fundamentally.
Check it out. Try it. Actually, it would be awesome to get feedback from you in regard to using the app, how that worked for you, and any improvement. You're more than welcome to give feedback to us.
Absolutely, we're very much in a beta testing phase, so any feedback we can get from the community is always valued. But encourage you to download the apps. Again, they're both available on Google and Apple. So we'll shoot on to the next question.
Alicia.
So she's asking, or he's asking, Alicia, that
sounds like
typically a girl's name, I would think. But how do you see Qwids in 5 years?
That's kind of similar to the first question, really. How we would like, we have big ambition for Qwids, don't we? We would like to see Qwids becoming the best community building platform in the world. So we want to be present everywhere when there is a need for a value to turn into into actions. And which is the core feature and the promise of Qwids.
It is, and 5 years might seem like quite a way away, but Qwids has already been in existence for some 3 years, so it takes its time to change things. But we are, in 5 years' time, we're clearly in multiple countries delivering a fantastic service to those groups of people, those communities that wish to further develop their values.
And
themselves.
also that comes down to all of us, really, how we can build this thing together.
It is. It's certainly not just up to a small group of developers or a team in Sweden. It's all of us coming together to build this. So we'll move on to the next question. That's from Budweiser, or Budwanza, as he's written his name here. He asks, or she asks, what do you feel sets the Qwids platform apart from competitors? And secondly, where do you see the platform developing over the next 5 years?
Second part we already addressed. I think apart from competitors, I think we have seen over the last, for quite a while, many platforms, social media platforms and so forth, either it's about talking, discussing stuff, and on the other hand there are project management tools. So far there haven't been as many which turn talk into actions, which Qwids obviously is all about. So I think that sets Qwids apart from its main competitors, that we so clearly want to address how community values or values with community around it can be turn into action.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, anybody out there who uses social media frequently, which is almost everybody, realizes probably sooner or later that there is a lot of talking, but the actions, I mean, they're often not enough to drive or move the whole community's ambitions forward. Whereas that's what we intend to develop with Qwids, more action-oriented communities. So we'll move on to the next one. That's from Dunkton2701, and they ask, how can I use my QC, SB and Photons points? Okay, so these are the points or the tokens that reside upon the Qwids platform. So when a community is created, they are invited to generate or create their own
token,
off-chain token. So these are tokens that exist on the platform, and the reason why they're off-chain is part of the scalability issues that we've had in the past with the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain, and what we're seeing now emerging with the Ethereum chain. It's always been part of Qwids' prerogative to break down those barriers to entry for people who want to have a point system, whether it's a loyalty point system or a tokenized mission-oriented system for their own community, have that access and that ease of use. And so when it comes to how do you use them, well, it depends on what the community is offering, right? So you've got QCs, SBs, Photons, and right now you've got a couple more communities being built on the platform as well. Those individual communities will offer you specific offers that you can find in the Qwids app or on the Qwids.co website. There you will be able to use your points, your tokens, to purchase those offers. So for example, right now you're able to buy 100 Q tokens, which are on-chain tokens for the Qwids platform, or QC tokens. I hope that answered your question. There's nothing you need to add to that, I guess.
No, it's community specific. So that's it. Next question.
So next question comes from Beliski Bio, and they simply ask, what is the role of Qwids?
Easy. It's about changing the world or helping people change. It's their worlds, really.
It's an empowerment objective.
Yeah.
But it's a number of things. It's also a place to play and experiment.
True.
To pass from one world into another over time. But the role of Qwids is basically what the role of any community building operation is. It's to grow and incentivize actions that further the community's objectives, regardless of what they might be. For us, it's important to empower communities with more honest and open, transparent agendas that essentially drive good in the world, no matter how, whom or how it's achieved. That's not to say that any community will be able to build on Qwids.
No, the way I see it is, it's that there are obvious values in this world that don't lack any support. But in order to create a kind of diversity of communities and actions and empowerment, it's about lifting up the whole diversity of different values that can be turned into action.
Okay, so our next question comes from Harim Badal, and they're asking, is there a referral program for Qwids yet? He's actually asked this a couple of times in the community group as well. We currently don't have a referral program for Qwids. The best way that you can earn or benefit from referrals is to engage with the team, basically. Engage with us, complete missions, new offers as they come out from the various communities, and support each and every early adopter that enters the space. I think those kind of behaviors will be duly noted, and actually right now we are keeping a close eye on those people that are most engaged with the product, obviously, because we want to build out that early ambassador group. In the future, of course, we will probably adopt a typical referral program as many other platforms that are heading towards ICOs of their own do.
Yes, and it also comes down to each individual community to how they would like to treat their tokens. But for Qwids specifically, I think, just like Rich said, that it's about engaging in different actions and not a kind of referral program per se, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of those out there, so I'm sure people are up to here with referrals in this space.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that too.
But so the next question comes from Crypto Arv, and actually we've already addressed this one. It's how can I use your tokens? Whether he's referring to the off-chain or on-chain tokens is difficult. So we haven't touched on the Q tokens, so perhaps we take this opportunity to touch on that token instead.
The Q token is gonna fuel the platform itself. So there are gonna be, as you know, currently everything is free of charge using the Qwids platform. In the future, we're gonna add different cool new features, which is being fueled by Q tokens. And on top of that, we're adding currently very, very cool ecosystem solutions as well, so which is also built around the Q token. So the Q is the fuel and the glue.
And potentially many other things, considering it's a programmable type of
Indeed.
currency. So we'll see how that unfolds. But our next question comes from Mindahi, and they simply ask, when do they receive their airdrop tokens? So I'm not entirely sure what they're referring to there, because we haven't publicly claimed to be doing any airdrops yet.
No.
We've done a few sort of niche offers to the smaller communities. So I don't really know how to answer that, to be honest.
We have played with the idea of doing an airdrop for the Q token, but currently we don't see a real good pathway for that. And the whole reason for this is that we want to tie everything we do into action and not just random lofty stuff.
So Ben 10 asks, is the branding of Qwids final?
Not at all. That's the short answer.
Yeah, I mean it takes a while to develop a brand like so. Maybe it's never final.
It was never final, and we are starting to capture the vivid, fun spirit about actually showing your true colors, which is the core of everything. So currently I see ourselves building further around this core theme and see where we end up with.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Moving on to the next question from Ferdemir. They ask any TV program for Qwids. So that's an interesting question. Kind of YouTube is a TV program, right?
I suppose.
I mean, we've made a bunch of videos. Perhaps he's thinking of more of a regular scheduled sort of thing.
Ordinary TV. Short answer, no. We haven't been invited yet to any shows. They are more than welcome to invite us, though. Rich will go.
I'll come over. If you have a TV program, I'll come and introduce Qwids. So next question's from Jan Jims 007.
Ooh,
they're asking, in what platform is Qwids? Is wallet balances can withdraw? I'm not sure what to make of that, really.
In what platform is Qwids? Its own platform.
It could be referring to which blockchain is it hooked into.
So Qwids platform itself is built on off-chain tokens, while the Q tokens, which is fueling the platform, is a Ethereum token, ERC20 token.
That's right, and those of you who have community accounts and have attached your Ether wallet address and purchased Q tokens, you'll see that your balance resides in the exact same wallet as your Ether. So just 2 more questions left now. This one is referring to why does a member need to permit Qwids to take control of a Twitter account in order for a member to accept and perform Twitter-based missions? This is a good question, and it's actually, we've had this question before from the same person. Essentially, our developer, I assume, has when we first connected the API to the Twitter API, there was a couple of options there, and I guess Andre has chosen one of those that gives us more permissions than we actually require, and therefore that's how that API relationship has been formulated. I can't imagine it's a big deal to change that or update it, but unfortunately our CTO is away on holiday at the moment and won't be back for a couple of at least a month, so we can't change that directly, but we hear you loud and clear, and I have spoken to the person before.
Yeah, it's on the top of our list.
Absolutely. They also ask to provide some actual examples of use cases for new communities.
Well, one thing we have thought of today actually is to provide a sort of a map of different possibilities with using missions and offers, so that communities can pick and choose kind of different combinations in innovative and fun ways. Otherwise, I guess it can be a bit. People are looking for inspiration to what they can use, how they can use the missions and offers to bring life to their communities, maybe. So we'll take that with us as well, I guess, and put up some interesting use cases for inspiration for the other communities.
Final question comes from Lee Cant 5. He says, I get a lot of crypto fraud emails. Can we all pull together, all then launch an investigation, plus arrest sources, stop theft of coins, plus pull together?
Sounds like a perfect community, I think.
It's actually something we have touched on before in conversation, I remember. Absolutely, Lee. Go ahead and start that community, and we'll
support you in any way we can.
Absolutely, we'll be behind you 100%, and I imagine a lot of people would be as well. So great idea, and thank you very much to all of you guys and girls out there for asking questions. This is the first time we've created a mission around this Q&A idea with the video and everything, but we will likely do it again.
Yeah, if you want to, just send us more questions actually directly.
Exactly. Otherwise we'll put up another offer again, maybe in a few weeks time, and we can go again.
I'm Jonas.
I'm Rich, and we'll see you next time.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. How come we didn't hear that the first time?